And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Lux Aeterna. I'm actually not sure how to say the second word there, but this is a solo game in which you're on a spaceship that's crashing and you need to fix it. The game is 15 minutes long, literally, because you have a 15-minute timer. You can actually make it less than that if you want to. And even though I'm not a solo gamer at all, I figured I'd give this one a whirl because the box is colorful. I think Tony Boydell's a pretty cool designer and sounded like something interesting to do. Let's take a look. So you're going to choose randomly 6 systems, one of each type. So there's various cards, so every game will be different as you put these systems out here. These systems have a positive thing that will happen if you repair it, and a negative thing that will happen if it completely collapses. Sometimes the positive thing has no effect, but the negative thing is much worse for that. So you're going to put a die on these that shows a value of 2. That's pretty bad, because if it goes below 1, it will be destroyed or damaged. And if it goes up to 7, above 6, then you will have repaired it. You're also going to be moving your spaceship each turn. And so you're going to pick a start spot here, and they have on this card basically you should start here where it says +5, but you can start anywhere you want on this thing. Where you start is going to add to your score. I mean, you could start here and it'll add 91 to your score, although I can't imagine how in the world you could possibly win that way. Because wherever you start, your ship is going to be moving towards the black hole, and if you go to the black hole, then you lose, as you can see by the word fail there. The game is going to be using this deck of main cards. 8 of them are removed from the game, so you're never sure which ones are going to be in there. You're then going to be randomly picking 4 of these problems, these errors, these glitches, and you're going to be shuffling them into your deck. So there's 6 different ones. You'll be picking 4 of them and putting them into the bottom of the deck where they might show up and mess you over. And then you're going to get a timer on your phone or something, and you're going to set it for 15 minutes. Start the timer. That's the easy, by the way, easy mode. You can make it a harder game by starting it at a lower time, and you're off you go. Each turn of the game, you draw the top 4 cards. You just draw the top 4 cards, you resolve them, draw the top 4 cards, resolve them, and you got to make it through the whole deck. If you ever draw a glitch, like this coolant leak, then you will immediately do what it says and draw a replacement card. Once you draw these 4 cards, you're going to be assigning these 4 cards, 1 to your speed, 1 to your cash, 1 to your event, and 1 to your action. I probably should put them like this. So this is the order that you would put them in. The cash is just basically a place you can store a card where you can use it on a future turn, but only 1 card can be kept there. After you've played a card to each of these areas, you are then going to resolve the event, resolve the action, and then resolve the speed. When you're resolving the event is going to damage the system that you put there by the amount shown. So this would damage the orange system by 2, which means I would lower that die by 2, which means this would go to 0, and I would immediately do this action here, which says you can't remove glitches from the main deck for the rest of the game. Now, I would probably not put that one there because I don't want to lose that one right away. So I might have put this one there, which will reduce it by 0. Then you go to the action where you will do the bottom part of the card. So this card here says, for example, add or subtract 1 to or from a die. This one here says search the deck and remove the first glitch. This action here would say swap 2 dice that are on the things. This one here says you pick. I can either move 2 away from the black hole, my spaceship, or I can add 1 to a die. And there's all kinds of actions that you will have throughout the deck. And like I said, you are trying to raise the dice over 6. If you do so, then the good effect might happen. Like this one says, once only, put a collapsed system back into play with a die of 1. Well, that's pretty cool. Or this one here says, remove the top 4 cards of the main deck from the game. Well, that makes the game faster. That's neat. Finally, the third card you play is the speed card, and you're just going to look at the bottom corner, and that's how far you move towards the black hole. Now this is normally 0, 1, 2, or 3. So you can see this green card is good for every situation. It has a decent event, adding or subtracting one from a die. Don't know why you would subtract one, but there's a few reasons. It also doesn't affect me at all for the event, and I don't move at all. The problem is the other cards I also drew are bad. So while I might stick this one here so that the green one doesn't go down, I know I'm going to be moving at least one. So I'm like, all right, I'll put this one on the 1, and now I'm going to pick one of these 2 events to do. That would probably be what I would do. But remember, you have a time limit on all this too. So I'll do that. Then I draw the next 4 cards, and I'm looking at them. Okay, well, these are going to reduce the die by 1, so I'll reduce the pink one by 1. Oof, I'll use this one for movement. I'll move 1. And what event? Move 2 away from the black hole or flip a die to its opposite face. Ooh, if I have the pink one, I'm going to drop that one to a 1, and I'll flip it to a 6. Nice. And then when I repair the pink one next turn, it says the card you assigned to speed has a value of 1 for the rest of the game. Well, that's really powerful. That's really cool. And that's pretty much it. You're just going to keep playing. If you ever get to the black hole with your spaceship, you lose. If all your systems are either operational or collapsed, operational means you succeeded with it and you'll turn it over, or collapsed, where they failed. If they're all operational or collapsed, you also end the game, and then you're going to do scoring. If you make it through the deck, you go through scoring. So you get 1 point for each system that still has a die on it that hasn't been finished. If you finish the system completely and made it operational, you get 7 points. You'll get points based on where you started on this card. And then there's a few other ways to lose points. There's an ERR glitch and things like that. And then you see what your score is. And then you can play again with a lower time. Or maybe you just lost because you hit the black hole, in which case you got to start over because you don't get a score at all. The components for the game are okay. These are nice dice. They match the color of the game. They're a little smaller than I would prefer. The cards themselves are fantastic. They're nice. They're big. I like the art on them. The symbology is not that complex. And I don't know, they add some theme to it here. Although when I'm playing the game under the speed and everything, I'm not going, oh, kangaroo the thrusters. No, I'm looking at the different symbology on them. But that's fine. The cards for the systems here themselves, these are also fine, but they are not easy to read. I might have made the things a little bigger. But again, I'm being fairly nitpicky there. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the game looks. All the cards look really good, and I like how big they are. As I said, folks, not a solo gamer, but I have to say, really enjoyed this one. I have played this one many times, and I keep continually playing it once after, I'll play it, and I'm like, all right, let's try it again. My win ratio right now is about 50%. Now, granted, I moved a little bit closer to the black hole, and then I lost. So, I know that my win ratio is 50% or so on the easiest level, and my scores have ranged around depending on what things happen. There's definitely luck in this game as to when the cards come out, but making those choices each round is pretty interesting. The timer, I feel, is almost unnecessary. 15 minutes is easily enough time to go through the deck. I wonder, even if I drop it down to, I say, like almost every game I've won or lost in 11 minutes or so. So I guess I could speed it up and make myself go, but I can usually just sit there and go, this goes there, this goes there, this goes there, this goes there, resolve. And then draw again and keep going. That's not the problem. The problem is having all your systems crash on you. So I feel like the time limit, I almost could, it just feels like an artificial constraint. You can play with it without it anyway. Theme of the game is okay. It's the crashing spaceship, so all that stuff makes sense. But the systems, I like the variety in the systems. You pick them randomly, and sometimes, one time I played one where it added 1 to the speed of every card you played there. That was almost unrecoverable, because at that point you're shooting so fast to that black hole that it's very difficult to stop. And forgetting to kind of control, I'm like 10 space away from the black hole. I can move 3 towards it. I can move 2 more towards it. And then suddenly you're like, how do I get away from this thing? Your whole goal is to increase those dice, but it's a lot harder than you might think. You really, to increase them, you're going to add 2, then 1, then 1, then 1. Or you flip it, and there's a lot of cards that say you can only flip it. You can't flip a 1 to a 6. You can flip a 2 to a 5 at most. But even then, you flip a 2 to a 5 and then add 1 and then add 1. And it works. The concept of this was so simple, and the idea of drawing 4 cards and picking where they go, and essentially you have 5 to pick from after the first turn because you have the 1 in the cache. And I can use that one, and then I have to decide which one I'm going to keep in there for the next turn. And sometimes I just put a bad card there. I don't want to use that card for anything. But even the worst cards sometimes have pretty cool actions on them. And the idea that 4 cards and picking which one goes where is a neat concept that really adds a lot of variety to this game. Because the variety here, the deck's going to be shuffled differently, and 8 different cards will be removed. Basically, the glitches that show up, which are a pain in the neck, are going to be different each game. And then the systems you're trying to repair are going to be different. So every game feels different, and it feels like there is a lot of replayability here. So Lux Aeterna, a lot of fun. Dice Tower Judgment, approved.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.